This is John Summers again, and I realized when I finished the last video going over the syllabus and all that, I had forgotten to go through the policies. So this one shouldn't be near as long as the other one, but I did want to cover the policies in Blackboard. Policies are under content, and underneath that we'll have the week 1, week 2, and so on as we go through. So let me go ahead and go into the policies. When you click on it, it will download it into your folder, and then you can open it as a PDF. So let me go ahead and get this open. A lot of this information is already in the syllabus, has my office, phone number, email address, and so on. Attendance policy, logging into Blackboard. That is one way that in completing your assignments, that's one way that I take attendance. So you should be logging in at least twice a week in order to pick up your assignment and then turning it in for grading. Right now, how I plan on doing this is you will be uploading your assignments into Blackboard. Mr. Uznick, he had a server that he was having his students load them out to. I do not have that, and I'm not able to have one. So what I'll be doing is we'll be loading those up into Blackboard. I will be downloading them from there and grading it through that way. Makeup exams will not be given unless it's just an extenuating circumstance. There'll be 2 days we'll have those. Not saying that, if it's something, drastic, then we'll look at it and see if I can make an exception. But right now, there will not be any. Does note that this class will require a considerable amount of time. I've already kind of brought that up when I talked about the syllabus. If you stop logging into Blackboard to turn in assignments, your average drops below a 60, and you do not officially drop by the deadline, you will receive an F in this course. And withdrawal policy, you need to withdraw from the course. Again, you will need to send out the form and send that to me, but it needs to be at least 24 hours before the deadline. Don't send it to me 5 minutes before the deadline. It's not going to happen. You need to get it to me a day ahead so that, one, when you send me an email or a text or whatever, don't expect me to respond immediately. Again, this is, as I mentioned, this is my second job. So if it's during the day, I am doing my first job and I am giving all my attention to that. So, I will respond within 24 hours, hopefully sooner than it should be. Usually I'll try to, respond that evening. But again, if you need to withdraw from the course, you need to send it to me 24 hours ahead of time. Homework policy, do your own work. Do not want someone else doing it. If I find out, you will get a 0 on that assignment. Assignments are all due by 7 a.m. Most dates, it's going to be Monday morning, 7 a.m. If you have it in after that, you will be penalized 10 points per day on that. So get your assignments in on time. Says, your assignments should be named, located, specified in the instructions. Again, right now, that's going to be Blackboard. As we get into it, I'll have more instructions on how to put those in, but that's where we'll be putting them. Once you've completed the lab and uploaded in Blackboard, if you did realize you made a change, since we are using Blackboard, you need to notify me as soon as possible that you uploaded a new one, that you realize you had an issue, so that I don't go in and grade the first one. I want to basically remove that one and go into the new one. So you need to let me know if you ever do that. Programs must be compiled and run to completion, producing a desired output before they will be graded. Just like in the real world, if your program does not work, you are not going to be able to give it to a client, and you are not going to get paid for doing that, whether you work for a company or you do it as a side job or as a contractor. So that's how this works. When I get your assignment, it must work, or otherwise you do not get a grade for it. Do not modify my code. I may provide code as part of the assignment or test. You must integrate that code into your own. So if your code doesn't work, it's not my code that's the issue. You need to change yours. Mine is fine. If you discover a shortcut, you need to check with me first before you turning in your assignment. So make sure it's okay with me before you turn it in that way. And also, I do not want my coursework to conflict with the needs for students to study for final exams. Therefore, no work will be accepted after 7 a.m. on the last Friday of the week before finals. That last week should be spent studying for finals, not doing your coursework. So it all needs to be completed by that for that last week. Late work policy. Homework is due by 7 a.m. I already mentioned that. Be penalized 10 points per day or 10 points per regrade if I have to regrade it. And you're responsible to ensure that all of the late work has been graded. So you need to make sure that if you turn something in, you need to make sure that it gets graded on that. That's because if I get in there and it's not working or whatever, don't always necessarily expect me to get back with you. You need to send me an email or whatever on that. Okay, policy does not apply that late work will always be accepted. In some instances, homework will not be expected past the due date, especially that very last week before finals. So that I will not accept late work. Test policy. Books, notes, phones, other resources are prohibited during the exam. You will need to remove those from your desk. Do not print, email, or make a copy of this exam, nor your solutions to the exam. Design work, pseudocode, sketches, etc. that you create while working on the exam must be written on the exam itself. Only program you can run in your PC is PuTTY or Android Studio, and that's for this class. And you will do all your work and turn it into Blackboard. And this will basically be proctored in a lab by a student or by a lab assistant. So they will be watching you and make sure that you're not looking over others' PCs. You cannot help each other on this one. So wanted to go over that so that you've had those policies. And again, if you have any questions, please make sure you contact me or send me a text on that. But just wanted to go through these policies. So again, I look forward to having you in class, and should be a fun semester. Thanks. Bye.